Coming up on the 11 o'clock hour, hour number 4 of RMU's live coverage of the 2012 election. Alongside John Clocko, I am Brooks Bratton. As you saw there, more breaking news coming in. We've been talking about Ohio and Florida all night, especially in the last hour that we've been on the air. And we've got some more updates on those two states that we want to bring to you right now, starting with our neighbor here in Pennsylvania, the state of Ohio. Barack Obama is ahead by just under 80,000 votes. 66% of the votes are now in the state of Ohio. And again, President Obama is ahead by just under 80,000 votes. So a narrow yet important lead for the president in the state of Ohio, and more news from the state of Florida as well.
Yeah, Brooks, Florida with 90% of the vote in, President Obama still holding on to a lead of about 36,000 votes. So the president's still holding on strong down there, as he's needed to do in order to take that state from Governor Romney, a state that we predicted will be close, and it really still is. But again, with 90% of the vote, Obama still leads with 36,000 or so more votes than Romney.
And that vote count could go into the early morning hours there in the state of Florida. It could take a while. We've been seeing reports surface of the tallying in Florida could go up until 2 or possibly 3 in the morning. So it may be a while on Florida. And we do now have some more information from our own John Fisher, who you saw in the 8 o'clock hour. And since he left his post here, he's been roaming the campus, talking to folks who are out and about, getting their opinion, and we will check in with John now. Mr. Fisher, take it away.
I am back. Thank you, John and Brooks, for the very nice introduction. And yes, I was actually on the catwalk up at Romeo's very earlier, but I'm here down in the cafeteria with a couple of officers from the RMU Association of Musicians who have a little bit of a political background. And we're going to come to you first. This, by the way, is Alex. Now, Alex, please talk about the election just a little bit. It's on the TVs here in the cafeteria. What's your general opinions about what's taking place?
Well, from what I could gather, this is an extremely close one, and just from what I've seen, it's polarizing everybody as far as ideologies. It's more than just it's more than just politics. I think this is almost starting into like a cultural war almost.
And I know we had somebody from the Black Student Union talk about stereotypes and how they are a big issue in the elections, and even the candidates, Romney and Obama, have tried to steer away from the stereotypes. But going on to, now I'm here with Kayla. Same question to you. What's your opinion on the election so far? Obama has a slight lead in Ohio and Florida, which are huge swing states. Talk about if you see this consistency coming true, or could we have a slight political shift, as Romney might bid?
I think that basically, I didn't personally vote because I think it's a choose between lesser of two evils. I mean, everyone, I don't know, I see Romney as kind of being a little sketchy. I don't think I would trust him. And if you have a video scandal, that's just bad news, just to start out with.
Absolutely, and scandals are certainly something not to mess with, especially for elections. Learn that now, Chris Christie, Marco Rubio for 2016. Moving on to now forward, one of the offices of RMU AOM. Same question goes to you, just like Alex and Kayla talked about. I think that's an election so far.
From what I can see, it's very close. I'm really curious to see how the swing states go. I have my own personal opinions. Like Kayla said, I don't really have a lot of trust for Romney. He seems to shift on his platform a lot. But I haven't really been satisfied with Obama's 4 years. But so I also did not vote because I honestly think that the two-party system is flawed as it is. So I just didn't really feel like being another cog in the machine.
Very different aspect of the election, not voting, and a lot of people get flack for not voting, which is very interesting. But you have a very good reason not to, thinking that the two-party system is flawed. Can you go into a little bit more detail about that, if you can?
It's the way I see it is that there's no real way for any third party or anything to come in and actually come with the election, because the two-party system, they just get so much backing to the point where they just overpower these smaller candidates. I'm personally not Republican or Democrat. I tend to shift either way on purpose. Social issues, I tend to be more Democratic, but some slightly conservative in some other issues. So there are some smaller candidates that I personally think would have been better options, but they can't do it. They can't come against these big superpowers of Democratic Party and Republican Party.
Outstanding. And by the way, he works at GameStop up in Robinson. He will hook you up the right way. Lastly, we're going to Dan. And do you feel the same way that Corey does? Or do you have your own political opinions that are completely different? What's your opinion on the election so far as well?
I'm going to have to disagree with most of what was said, in that I disagree that it's the lesser of two evils. Now, I do realize that Romney has, he kind of shifted from some of his policies in the past, but during the Republican primary, I think that was to a large degree necessary in order to secure the candidacy as a Republican, and I suspect that having done that, he's already started to shift back to policies that he's had before. That being said, I did vote for Obama because I strongly support Obama more so than Romney, but I don't think he's terrible.
And I hope I didn't start a fight between you two having completely different opinions.
I mean, I would like to expand on what Dan said. I mean, with Romney shifting his policies to secure the primary, that itself is a flaw of the two-party system. The fact that he's willing to not be secure in his beliefs just to secure something as powerful as the primary shows the flaw in this two-party system.
Something could be started here. We have no idea, but as it were, Pennsylvania was won by the Democrats. You, my friend, were a part of that victory for the Democratic Party. I hope you do feel accomplished. And by the way, everybody should vote. Even if you don't, that's okay. As long as you have a reason for it, that's fine. There is no judgment here, especially at Robert Morris University. Either way, that is going to do it for us. Again, guys, thank you so much for being with me. I really appreciate it. And you're watching live coverage of the 2012 election here at RMU on RMU TV. Back over to Brooks and John at the desk. No catwalk this time, guys.
Right now, because we have some incredible numbers that are coming in. Just a little while ago, we updated you on some electoral totals. Right now, brand new numbers coming in. Barack Obama, 228. Mitt Romney, 176. Brooks, the president, just picked up some key states on the West Coast.
That he did. A number of states closing their polls at 11 o'clock, which we just hit about 5 minutes ago. President Obama has taken a number of states, as you mentioned, California, Hawaii, and Washington, all going to Obama. Again, no surprises there. He was expected to take those, especially California carries 55 electoral votes with it. So that is a big reason for the spike in electoral votes there. Also, President Obama is now being called to take Wisconsin. Governor Mitt Romney is taking North Carolina. He has also taken Arizona, as we mentioned. So President Obama getting a lot of states, again, as those 11 o'clock polls closed. We do have an electoral vote update very quickly for you. John, you just heard him read some numbers. Some more numbers have just come in. President Barack Obama now with 238 electoral college votes. Governor Mitt Romney, 191. So President Obama, if I do some quick math in my head real quick, is only, what's that, 32 votes
32.
away
We were
from
doing
the
each other's
magic
math there.
270. That high school mental math is paying off. 238 again for President Obama, 191 for Mitt Romney. So if states continue to come in like this and they continue to go in the favor of Barack Obama, we may not be waiting too much longer to call who will be the next president or continue to be the president of the United States.
And as you mentioned, 32 votes in the Electoral College remaining for President Obama to hit that magic 270 number. And those states of Florida, which has 29, and Ohio, that has 18, that would give it to him. So those key states, as we continue to watch, will give President Obama the re-election. That's what I guess we can say we're expecting at this point, but we're just waiting for it to become official, hopefully here in this 11 o'clock hour. We're also getting more breaking news that the Democrats are going to retain the majority in the Senate. Democrats are expected to retain the majority in the Senate. A lot of key races across the nation tonight, and the Democrats keeping control of the Senate, and that's going to be key, obviously, and President Obama, I'm sure, is very happy about that as well. We are going to, right now, toss it over to the always lovely Leah Fleischel. She's standing by in the Social Media Center with some more updates online. Leah.
Thank you so much, John Klocko. As we were talking before about the Electoral College map, it has changed a little bit. Last time we looked at it, President Obama did not even break 200. Now we see him at 237, getting ever closer to that magic number of 270. Some Twitter trends we have going on here. We still have election 2012 and go vote, but another one that was brought to our attention is hashtag stay in line, because the rule is that if you are in line for the polls, even if it is past time they've closed, if you're in line, your vote's going to count. So there are people tweeting. We are getting tweets by the second, 60 new tweets since we updated about 3 seconds ago. People just encouraging others to stay in line because their vote matters, because a lot of people still believe this race is close. Back over to you guys.
All right, Leah, thank you very much. We are also getting a report here, Brooks, as we speak, that Idaho will go to Governor Romney, and that is 4 electoral college votes. Not a big one, but still 4 votes nonetheless.
Put him up around the 195, close to 200 area for Governor Romney. More reports as we continue to check Twitter, as well as reports coming in from our newsroom. Again, President Barack Obama, at our last tally, according to the information we have been given, just 32 electoral college votes away from that key number of 270. So if states continue to come in like that, it shouldn't be too much longer until President Barack Obama is reelected for another 4 years.
Yeah, and I think it is important to point out that none of those major swing states have been called yet. They are too close to call. And Florida, of course, being one, Ohio, a few others out there as well that just are way too close to call, but those are big numbers. If we would see some major shift towards the end of the line here, so to speak, as the results continue to be counted, that could put a few more votes in the governor's column. But by and large, I think we're looking at a President Obama victory here as far as the Electoral College is concerned. Again, we were talking a little bit ago about the popular vote. That still is remaining in the hands of Governor Romney, but what matters, once again, is the Electoral College, and that is in the hands of President Obama at this time.
Something a bit more lighthearted on the desk. We had that 11 o'clock rush of a lot of states coming in, a lot of information coming in. A local story here, according to our partners at the Sewickley Patch and the Plum Oakmont Patch and Dormont Brookline Patch, a lot of patches out there. Of course, we good partners here with the Moon Robinson Patch here at RMU. They're each reporting that local bakeries are holding their own confection elections. Say that 10 times fast. A confection election selling cookie caricatures of the presidential candidates. We don't have any numbers as to who got their head chewed off more, but again, some local bakeries having some fun with the candidates there. So everybody seeming to get in on this election. Again, we've seen a lot of people going out there to vote. We didn't think that the interest was as high as it was potentially 4 years ago, but nonetheless, we've still got a lot of people getting out there to vote, and a lot of numbers coming in, continue to come in this evening as polls throughout the country continue to close, as we are just 10 after 11 here on the East Coast.
I want to kind of piggyback off of that story. Some of those lighthearted stories are interesting. And recently we were in Chicago, a few of us from the Society for Collegiate Journalists, and we visited WGN Radio, one of the most recognizable and historical radio stations in the nation. And they had chia pets of Obama and Romney. And they were growing them in the studio on the streets of Chicago from the Tribune Tower. And President Obama had a slight lead, and that's what we're seeing here tonight. So maybe in 2016 you get yourself a chia pet to be able to predict the next president of the United States. But you know, it's always good to have some of those lighthearted stories, because sometimes you just get caught up in these situations, and really we got to keep it in perspective. I believe we're going to go to a commercial break, Brooks.
Well, real quick, we've got we go from the lighthearted stories to the hard news again. We've got some more breaking news coming in right now. John, another key battleground state was the state of Ohio, home of our dear friend Dr. Andrea France, who no doubt cast her vote today, and Iowa, the state of Iowa. We don't want to give any false alarms and say it's Ohio. It's not Ohio, it's Iowa. both four-letter states, both easy to get confused when you've been on live TV for going on about an hour and 15 minutes right now. President Obama is expected to win the battleground state of Iowa. That was another big one that was up for grabs. Of course, not as important as Ohio and Florida, but Iowa, another battleground state, and President Barack Obama projected to win that. Obama has also taken New Mexico. He is projected for that. We've got up to 249 now electoral votes for President Obama and remaining at 191 for Mitt Romney. So 249 puts the president just now 21 votes away from getting to that magic number 270. Iowa accounting for 6 of those votes. Again, a key battleground state, and the president has taken Iowa. So some more breaking news coming into you, and certainly for the Obama camp, more good news continues to come in, John.
Well, President Obama, as you said, Iowa, New Mexico, that's a combined total of 11 electoral college votes, and that puts them just 21 away from that magic 270 number. Now we're going to go to break. We wanted to get you that breaking news before we went to break. When we come back, we'll analyze that and take a look at what else is happening as we continue the march to 270. You're watching Robert Morris University's live coverage of the 2012 presidential election right here on RMU TV.